Hey, Orchid peeps. Thanks for checking in. I'm Travis. Welcome back to Pilar Orchids. It's Sunday morning. I'm in my PJs. Yeah, it's like August 24th or something like that, I think. Yeah, something like that. Late August. Uh, let's check in with the orchids, see what's happening, both inside and outside. I'm outside right now because it's a nice morning. It's beautiful. The sun's coming up. Yes, at the main table, just right now where we have these plants, because, this one, the hieroglyphic, just, man, it's full of mealies, and we can't, it's our most susceptible plant to mealy bugs. And while we've been keeping it at bay, like they just keep popping up randomly, like on the spikes and occasionally like up under the leaves. And look, like right there, you can see there's like some traces of them. I think I scraped some of those out a few days ago. And so this one's a constant battle. Anyways, we kind of have these plants. This one is the ambinosa, Phalaenopsis ambinosa, still holding on to its blooms. And yeah, if you follow our channel, well, then maybe you've seen this plant. You remember it did kind of get like attacked by something. Like, I don't know what happened to this plant, but anyways, it is in recovery now. The newest leaf coming on is healthy and looking nice and glossy and good and normal again. So happy about that. It did flower, couple blooms. And then Issa's mom's no ID pink phal in full glory once again. That's this plant back here. So that's what's just kind of growing on our little living room table right now. A bit of a quarantine zone because of some issues from them. So quick update on the water culture plants that we grow. There's another one here. This is a dendrobium. Yeah, I forget what it is. We took these out of flask. Yeah, we had a bunch that we mounted or potted or whatever. We've gotten rid of a lot of our, or repotted a lot of our waterculture phals. So there's a few less than there were. We still have the bigger ones a bit farther away from the sun. You can see they're in full sun in the morning right now. And yeah, so that's a manii back there. This little one here, that's a manii. And then here's our Schilleriana. Really looking good, back on track. Both of these, the newest leaves are as big, or they're going to be as big as they should be, or bigger than they have been in the last year or so. So that's a good sign, the new leaves bigger. And this one, also in waterculture, is the bronze Buddha. It's a no ID for us, but a lot of people have said call it bronze Buddha. It is quite fragrant. Right now it smells super good. Anyways, that one growing good. And here, the last one, waterculture, is the Fuscata, Phalaenopsis fuscata, which we had quite a few of these, like 3 or 4 small plants, seedlings from a different source, and none of them did well. And then finally we got this one, and it's done better, although it hasn't been great. This is sunburn, because we were growing it right in the window, whereas you can see, like in the morning, they get quite bright sunlight. So we've now moved it back here into the shade, So that's the deal on the waterculture plants that we have and the dog toys that we have. Now moving kind of into the main orchid room inside, we have rearranged the furniture, although the boss, I just did this yesterday, I kind of put this shelf like this. The boss is not convinced with this little walk-in hallway. I'm trying to be more laboratory-like, but she wants it more home-like, and yeah, so we're kind of finding this balance, right, on how we're gonna arrange this room for the winter this year to maximize our plant growth. Anyways, to the little lighted cabinet, quick update on our deflast seedlings. Our hybrids, the first ones that we've gotten back from the lab ever. So this is kind of like a lifelong plant growing goal of mine that has been reached, although I want to see them flower. So that's kind of the full extension of the goal, is to actually see the flowers, not just get plants. But we've gotten our first hybrids back, and these two here are two different hybrids, but they are the biggest of each of the flasks. So these are about 2 months out, and so now we're kind of hardening them off. You know, we took the lid out so they can just get a bit more natural, what they're going to get used to, right? So after a couple months, take the lid off fully and start to acclimate them to our conditions. We have really good root growth, like you can see, you know, there you can see the little root tip is growing by my thumb there. So that's just in the last few weeks, and a nice new leaf coming on now, still dripping. We just watered yesterday. And this one, well, there was another one that I saw that had really nice root growth. I mean, you can see even here, there's a little root coming down on the side there from this little guy. So yeah, that's the main thing we look for, right, is root growth. That's what you need more than anything else. And actually these two up here, these also we deflast at the same time, but these were hieroglyphica. These are not our crosses. This is I think a selfing or a sibling cross of a Phalaenopsis hieroglyphica, but we got this cup at the same time, the flask, and so these were all deflasted at the same time, but the hieroglyphicas were a bit bigger. So these two up here on this shelf are hieroglyphicas, and they are much bigger, much more vigorous. They have really good root growth, so happy about those two, and that's why we pulled them out earlier. Is it gonna focus there? It's not. Yeah. So we pulled those two out earlier than the others. Yeah, and just a shelf of some succulents and cacti that we're rooting out. We took those cuttings, I don't know, a month ago or more for a couple of them, a couple months ago. They're still sitting on the plate, growing roots, and the only two lithops that we have here. And down on some Phalaenopsis, our Borneensis is in bloom right now, which is great to see. The Borneensis, I love this Phalaenopsis. It's a species, here's let's see if I can get it to focus on that flower. Yeah, there you go. So there's the flower. And each inflorescence, each stalk blooms 1 or 2 flowers, you know, at a time. That's it. But it does hold on to the inflorescences, the stalks. So it'll bloom, you know, for a couple of years like this. It always blooms around this time for us. So that's great. Really nice flowers. Love the coloration. That lip is so defined and white. But anyways, that one's in bloom. We have harvested some pollen from it and should be blooming for a minute. And down here is the Jennifer Palermo right below it. And while this one is now basically over its bloom. Maybe if you watch our channel, you know what this looks like. It's a really nice purple flower, deep purple, with like a grape scent, fittingly. It's really nice, nicely scented. And so we have tried pollinating this twice now with 2 different parents. So I won't go into what those are, but you can see we denote one with a string. So I'm reluctant to make more than 2 pollinations on a plant at any time. That really stresses them. Even one will stress them, but with 2 on there, that's quite a bit. But anyways, down here, oh yeah, let's look at this one real quick. Super excited about this. The Phalaenopsis marii with 4 buds on it that are about to bloom. I mean, these little inflorescences are so small and delicate. Let me see if I can put my, show my finger for scale. Like, they're tiny. That's my fingertip right at the bud. You can see how small they are. They're like the smallest, most delicate little inflorescences and buds. But the blooms, they still have a couple weeks probably before they open up. So they will get bigger, but not much. They're very small, very delicate looking, quite nice. So this marii is our better. We have another one right here. And this one, well, it does have really nice vegetative leaf growth. The spike is, well, not as vigorous. Now it is starting to kind of develop and grow again, but it's always a little bit behind the other one. So got some nice new root growth though, which is great to see. So these are our 2 mariis now coming into bloom, quite seasonal, as you can see. There you go. Another last look. Yeah. And down at the bottom, the Tetraspis green. One of our Tetraspis greens is in flower right now. Just opened up a couple buds. There you go. Although the color's not very good. So white center with the green blush on the ends of the sepals and petals. Yeah, that's the Tetraspis green. So we use that guy for, well, this plant and another one we use for a lot of our Pollinia for crossing. They really seem to be successful with making seeds. So not so much on the mother side. We've only had 1 or 2 successful crosses with this as a seed carrying mother plant. It's been much more successful as a pollen donor, which is interesting. So I don't know, we'll see. Obviously we haven't bloomed anything yet with any of our crosses, but we're hopeful. Here's all of the ones that we still have to deflask. These are all of our crosses that we've made here. Anyway, we've done a video on that. I won't go into that now. So that's pretty much what's happening down here on the bottom shelves and with our Phalaenopsis in the lighted shelves, and then out here, our orange no ID phal, which I think kind of is like also maybe a Vandanopsis kind of cross. I mean, look at that. They, speaking of roots and how important they are, I mean, just the roots on, it's like a Medusa of roots. It's crazy. So that's kind of why I think maybe this is also like a Vandanopsis or something. I've always wondered. But the Phalaenopsis gigantea, yes, we have tried crossing, hybridizing it this year. and it looks successful, at least for now. It's, yeah, a couple months old now. Well, 6 weeks, I guess, or so for that one. So, little sister, of course, always in bloom, and the Barcarias that we have mounted are just kind of sitting on the shelves. They're looking good. Happy about that. They should bloom hopefully in November, whatever. We have a second one down here, another mounted Barcaria that's just kind of sitting. That's a marshmallow, and this is a marshmallow crossed with Nervosa or something like that. I gotta look at the tag. I'm not gonna. Oh, and then another Barcaria, the one we grow in our water culture. We basically water this. It's a focus camera. So here's the last Barcaria growing up in the glass, and yeah, we water this almost every day. Just sprinkle water over the roots and then dump it out. So it's looking good. It's up here in full sun, along with a couple of dendrobium seedlings that we deflast in the spring. Still pretty small. Yeah. And we've moved in our cattleyas, a few of them now. Rearranged a lot of our Paphiopedilums and just the things, our cacti. We again moved in a lot of the succulents already, even though it's only August. It's getting down to like 10C, 60, low 60s or something. Yeah, so this is another, we took these, we divided this plant from El Pilar Sud, so if you know, you know, El Pilar Sud, and so we divided these and cleaned up all the roots, and they had good roots already, and now it's flowering, which is cool. Yeah. They make red flowers, even though down at El Pilar Sud they flower in April. So around Easter, Semana Santa, these are in flower. So this is really late. I think it's all confused because we brought it up north. And yeah, we'll see. I think it's gonna go all the way though. I think it will flower for like some kind of an aloe variety. I don't even know what it is. And onto the paths, we have, now we've moved most of the paths over here. The sunlight will start declining as the days get shorter now, and the two sequential bloomers are still in bloom. The Limianum here, Limianum, gonna go, yeah, focus, there you go. So it's got one flower. Again, I still just grow them all wonky, but it is continuously in bloom. It's still forming another one that's going to open right now. It just cracked open the last day or so, the new bloom. So that one's still going, and then the Paphiopedilum also still going. It's been like almost a year for these guys since they've been blooming, so it's crazy. And the Primulinum, as you can see, is also forming a new bud right there. So yeah, get down on that. I mean, the Primulinum, they say its genes don't breed well, and maybe it's not pure, but I mean, this one just blooms so regularly. It's the same every time. It's kind of hard to pick up right now with the glaring sun, but just a beautiful bloom. The petals are so nice and twisty. They're perfectly twisty. Anyway, enough about that. The paths are doing good. Can't complain right now about this. Now we'll take a quick walk out into the garden, which, I gotta say, I'm really happy with this garden. It's probably the best garden I've had in my life, and I've been able to design from scratch. I mean, move in. Yeah, there you go. You can see we've got quite a few like peonies and I don't know, other things coming on. A few of the roses are still putting on their late summer blooms. And yeah, but mostly we'll just look at like our orchid zones and where we've been growing some orchids outside. Although all the succulents are now gone. You know, if you watch, you know that we grow in the summer our succulents here on the steps mostly. Except for that guy, you know, this catch-all bin of cacti or whatever. A few of the orchids have now been taken away already, so our catasetums and cattleyas, a few of the cattleyas were grown out here, but mostly just the catasetums. Sorry, the dog toy, and don't mind the pile of, you know, weeds that we still have to throw away. We don't throw weeds in the compost. We try to throw them away in the city pickup. Anyway, the catasetums, you know, are now here, and so you can see they're kind of doing okay. Got to water them this morning again, but you can see there's like a little growth down there at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. There it is. Yeah. Don't know. That's not where I would expect this thing to bloom from. But anyways, I don't like to think it's growing a new growth now. And yeah, I want to leave these leaves on there. I'm trying to leave them on there now. Anyway, so we haven't fertilized really much. We ran out of fertilizer. That's the only thing about these guys. We did put a bit of granulated rose fertilizer in them because that's all we had. We did that in like late April, May. Yeah, I guess it was in May sometime. We threw a bunch of granulated fertilizer in them late May. And that's all we fertilized them. So that's probably part of the reason they aren't doing so great. Besides killing them basically with the rain and the cold. We've told that story here before, so I won't go into all that. So here are the catasetums. We've taken a couple, one to school. Now that school's on, a lot of our plants have gone back already. And one we've moved inside. Little fig cutting. Actually, it did grow a fig this year, surprisingly. Yeah, you can see it there. Not edible. Boo. But yeah, little fig cutting. Hopefully we can keep it overwintering. We don't let it go away. These guys here get the most sunlight, as you can see. It's already, you know, it's early morning. They're already in full sun, along with our tomatoes and yeah. Anyway, geraniums. And so then we go over to like the middle light orchids, which, you know, so these guys are our brasidiums, oncidiums, one or two maxillarias we grow here, but these are kind of like the middle light. So during the big part of the day, they get dappled sunlight, you know, half shade, if you will. Yeah, so this maxillaria still hasn't bloomed. This is one of our only ones. This is the species. There's the tag. Porphyra stella. So we can't get this one to bloom yet. I don't know why. That's why I'm kind of trying to pump the sunlight on this one a little bit to see if maybe it'll bloom. Because normally the maxillarias don't tend to like a lot of sun. It seems like they just get really sad and gross looking in as much sun. But the you know, it's sad. We didn't show the bloom. We missed the bloom basically when we were gone. You can see the remnants of it there. This is the area. Area. I have the tag. Hyacinthoides, yeah, Urea hyacinthoides, that's what it is. We got this from Inza. This is one of our Inza orchids, and it did bloom, but we missed it. We just saw it right as it was fading when we got back from vacation. And yeah, not a whole lot is happening with these other guys here on this little seat. Although this guy is in bloom now, should be flowering soon. And the Brassia Summer's Dream, that's this one. It is in bloom, about to pop open. Where are they? There's one of the spikes, there's another one, and a third one there. So yeah, this one's looking good. It's got a couple new growths coming on. There's a new growth. There's one of them. Yeah, so that one's looking pretty happy right now outside. Oh, before we go to the maxillarias, yeah, so here are the Blatia striatas. Yeah, the little bulbs that we planted, you know, from Flask, we showed that. Yeah, in the spring. And so here they are still alive, although we saw the ones at Roland's house. He has quite a few Blatias planted in his backyard, and they're huge, and so we still have quite a ways to go. Maybe next year or the year after these may actually bloom, but the Blatias, you know, they're still alive. So out of Flask, straight into the ground. Really happy about that. They've made it so far, so they're looking good. We water them as often as we can. Probably will today. And now over to the shadiest part of the garden, where the maxillarias. We typically grow them here. They seem to do the best. So here's the marginata in full bloom, really looking good with these white. They do have a fragrance, so they're quite nice, and there's just a ton of them. I mean, even on the back side, you know, the shadiest part, you can see there's just a bunch of blooms on that guy. So this is our marginata mother plant right here, where we take our cuttings from. As you can see, it doesn't seem to bounce back too well, so we've been trying to take it easy. We didn't take any cuttings this year. You know, we're letting it grow out a bit more. That one, the Shunkiana, won't bloom till winter, so that still has a couple months before we can expect some blooms there. But in the other maxillaria, no, over here to the Maxillaria variabilis, and it was in peak bloom. We missed the peak bloom. We didn't film it. It still has a few flowers hanging on here. They aren't looking so great though, you know, but there are still some hidden around. They are quite fragrant. This one's even more fragrant than the marginata. And it usually, yeah, again, we didn't catch it in peak bloom. Sorry, I'm losing some leaves. But again, we grow this one kind of in full shade. Try to water it a lot, you know, spray it with the hose, just like shh, if it rains. So that's the beauty of growing these plants out here, is we just like barely water them. You know, the rain pretty much takes care of them, which I love. Need to fertilize them more though. We really do. I think that's it. Thanks for checking in, guys, for all of our blooms and buds and what's happening in the orchids in late August. Hope you guys are having a good one. Stick together, stay focused, and we will see you back here at El Pilar soon.